you who don't know, I am on the CAR, which is the California Association of Realtors. It is their directors, and we have our meetings, and we're meeting with our legislators. So if you're a licensed realtor already, you should be down here in downtown Sacramento at the convention center. Any of you that are in this area, you should definitely come here. I am here till Friday in all the meetings. So I wanted to let you know that. So it's actually dating my video, but that's okay because we're here to teach you and finish up with principles. And we're in chapter 7, trying to move forward. And reason for the purple, it's realtor purple. We're not red, we're not blue, we're the purple solution. So you got to get with us and help homeowners and property owners, and even some people who want to lease property, because we're for property owners' rights, and we're here to help tenants find properties, and we're here to help you with anything that has to do with real estate. So let's keep going. We ended up on page 194 last time. Don't forget, I'm with California Real Estate Trainers, and I do help you pass the real estate exam. Whether it's your sales agent exam or you want to become a broker, we're here to help you. Hi, thank you for joining me. So we are on page 194, and I have a little star by the place that says financing is an important aspect of escrow. Now, I'm teaching out of the Walt Hubert, Huber book. And if you want to follow along, you can always go to the very first class that I started doing on principles. But it is with Educational Textbook Company. Their number real quick so I can make sure you have it. You can also see if it's on, I know it was on Amazon when I first started using it. It was only $18. And then I stopped for a while, maybe to make the price of the books to go down, or maybe to take care of my 93-year-old mom, whichever it was. Hopefully you can get a deal on the book. Anyway, because it was at $18 when I first started doing YouTube with this book. And then after a few weeks, it went up to 85 bucks. Anyway, they were really nice. I called them and they gave me a free book on practice. So we'll get into practice sometime. But anyway, we're at the part where it says financing is an important aspect of escrow. Now, the first couple of sentences I didn't highlight, but where I highlighted was 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences down. So what I'm teaching is I'm teaching you guys how to understand what's in here so that you can pass the real estate exam, but also making sure you understand what you need to do in the real world of real estate. Remember, the real estate exam is the exam world, and the real world is the real world. So if you're going for your broker's exam, you really should take our exam prep, because we show you what's the real world and what's the exam world. Anyway, the first thing I highlighted says, keeping the buyer and seller informed about the progress of the financing and the escrow helps maintain good client-agent communication and trust. So you always want to make, hi guys, thanks for joining. Hey, there's, I can't see what it says. It's so bad. Purple is my color. Aw, thank you. I love this purple. But anyway, trying to make sure we get you guys through. There's 2 of you still, so thumbs up, okay? Thumbs up. So anyway, one of the things that you have to do when you are a real estate agent and a professional is you want to make sure that you talk to whatever side you're on, whether you're on the seller side or the buyer side. You want to keep your client informed, but at the same time, you want to keep the other side informed. Thank you for you who gave me the thumbs up. So a lot of times people think that I'll never forget, I had a new agent that was working for me, and he was looking for a property for his parents. And when we found the property and we got into escrow, he goes, okay, I don't need any help anymore. We got there, we're in escrow. I'm like, this is where the games begin. This is where you have to make sure that I have a huge, what I have, it's the best gift my ex-husband ever gave me. The only best gift he ever gave me. And I think he got it from Amazon, I don't know. But it's a big, huge calendar, and it's got 4 months at a time, and it's dry erase. And so I put everything I have to do. So if it's open to escrow, home inspection, after that you have appraisal, and you have loan approval or final loan approval, ordering docs. You put everything on there so that you don't mess up and forget something. Termite inspection. So termite inspection and report, you guys got to make sure that when you look on the purchase contract, you understand what it says about the termite report, because you have to write in that you want a report, but you want to write that you want an inspection and report. Now, you might want to write that you want an inspection and report, and you want the seller to do a clearance. So we're going to talk about that today, because I saw where I highlighted it if we can get there. So the payoff statement is the next thing. Escrow has to order a payoff statement. I think I talked about this either last time or the time before, because you have to make sure the seller lets escrow know who is the loan on the home. Because I know that when I've taken listing appointments, I've asked sellers, I'm like, how much do you owe on your house? And they'll tell me, oh, I own X amount of money to, let's call it ABC Bank. And then I pull title, because I always pull title before I go and I take the listing appointment. And I'm like, okay, so you said you owe ABC Bank, but who's this other bank in second position? They're like, oh, that's just an equity line. Don't worry about that. I'm worried about that because it has to be paid off. It is against your house. It's a lien. So we have to make sure we know how much is owed against the house. So what escrow will do is they'll ask the seller for who they owe money on the house, and then they'll send them a payoff demand so that we know how much has to be paid off. So I highlighted payoff demand statement is a formal demand statement from the lender that details the amount owed as calculated by the lender for the purpose of the payoff of the loan in full, because we have to know how much we owe in full to be paid off. The failure to obtain a payoff or beneficiary statement in a timely manner could hold up escrow. So back in the day, I'm here in Sacramento to help promote property owner rights, not just landlord tenant, but also owners who are sellers or buyers. Because back in the day, when we used to order the demand statement, some of the banks would take extra long. Do you know why they would take extra long? Because what they would do is once they found out that the homeowner wanted a payoff statement, it was either for one of two reasons. One, they're selling their property, or two, they're refinancing their home. Now, either way, if that bank's being paid off, they want to see if they can get your purchase loan, or they want to see if they can step in and steal the refinance. So they used to take really long. So what happened was, I don't know if it was like a law or something that was passed, but it might be, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure what passed that made it be only 7 days. So now the banks only have 7 days to get you a demand statement. But if escrow doesn't order it in time, or the seller doesn't give the information to escrow in time, then guess what happens? It delays your escrow. So you want to be pushing everything. And if you're the seller's agent, you want to make sure that, I get that right when I'm signing the listing agreement. I need to know who your lender is. Do you have your most current payoffs? You have your most current mortgage coupon. So get that stuff and be on it, because the better you're on it, the easier it is to close. I got to tell you, my last closing was so easy because I had a great agent on the other side, and we worked together and we made it happen. My clients asked me if they could get their house before she had the baby, and we only had a few weeks, and they actually signed their loan documents in the hospital 3 days after she had the baby. So we worked quickly. So that's what you want to do, and they're first-time home buyers, to get those people their homes, right? So anyway, it says a lender payoff statement is different from the beneficiary statement. A beneficiary, which is the lender statement, is a demand statement by a lender under the deed of trust that provides information such as the unpaid balance, monthly payments, interest rates, and if necessary, if the loan is assumable. Most loans are not assumable. Lenders may charge up to $100 for furnishing a payoff statement or beneficiary statement, except when the loan is insured by FHA or VA. So on the FHA and VA, they do not charge the homeowner. Escrow example. So the cool part about this book is it does have an escrow example on the cost of escrow that you could look at on page 195. And it says seller Bob's and Bonnie, seller Bonnie, and seller Sam's and seller Susie. So they have all the names in there, but it's a little example. But on the next 2 pages, it has examples of how much it costs to close your escrow. Now, if you're working with a really good realtor, they're going to show you how much it's going to cost. If you're a buyer, the good news is your loan officer is going to help you understand how much money you need. In fact, in the very beginning, you're going to get a loan estimate. And then about a week before you close, you're going to get what's called a clear to close. And clear to close is going to show you your closing statement so that you can see that at least 3 days before you sign your loan documents. So that's a lot of information. But if you have questions about loans or anything about real estate, trust me, I can get you the answer pretty quickly because I probably know it. All you got to do is put it in the comments, and I'll definitely get in the comments and help you out. So we're going to go on to closing date is the date of recordation. That's when it's recorded in the county recorder's office. So the closing date is the date that the documents are recorded. So closing date is when the loan documents and the grant deed is recorded in the county recorder's office, and that's in the county where the property is located. So what I just said, that last two sentences, if you don't have your license yet, it's on the California real estate exam, so you might want to rewind it and play it slowly. So the actual date is when all conditions of the escrow have been completed. The buyer's remaining money, the cashier's check the buyers have to bring in. So after they sign loan docs, they got to go bring in some money. They don't usually get a cashier's check. Normally they wire it. But this says cashier's check is received and all the documents are recorded. So I can tell you in some counties, they fund and record the same day. So if you're in Orange County, California, you can literally, I had one client do this. He was a veteran. We met at Escrow at 9 a.m. in the morning. Yes, we did. He signed his loan docs. He got done at 10:30. He went straight to the bank. As long as you're at the bank before 11 o'clock a.m., you can wire the funds. He wired the funds at 11 o'clock after he signed the loan documents. He went over to, he went to his bank after he signed the loan documents, wired the funds, and then guess what? It got funded. It got funded at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It recorded at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I took him his keys at 6 p.m. So it all went boom, 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 because in Orange County, California, you can fund and record the same day. Now, Los Angeles County, so wherever you are in the state of California or anywhere in the country, find out when you fund and record. Now, remember, in California, we use a trustee where there's three parties: a trustor, a trustee, and a beneficiary. In other states, they use mortgages, and they have a mortgagor and a mortgagee. Now, in California, in Southern California, we usually use a title company and an escrow company. And in Northern California and other parts of California, and in most other states. Now, most other states that do mortgages use a settlement company. And in Northern California, they usually use the title company that has their own escrow division. So they use the title company that has title and escrow. So different parts of California, depending on where you're at, do it a little bit different. And in other states where they have mortgages and mortgagees, they use what's called a settlement company. So different things for different people. You have to understand that. So in some parts like Los Angeles County, they will not allow you. They used to have what's called a special where you could fund and record on the same day in LA. If you had one of the parties take it down to the county recorder's office, so either the seller or the buyer. But they don't do that anymore in LA. They fund on one day, they record on the next day. So if you're a really good professional real estate agent and you know what you're doing, you're not going to allow your client to fund on Friday and record on Monday, because as soon as you fund, your clients start paying interest. And if they start paying interest, that's costing them money, and they can't have their key until they record. So if you fund on Friday, Saturday and Sunday goes by, Monday day. So if you fund on Friday, you'll record on Monday, and they'll get their keys Monday. So they just wasted a weekend of interest. That's a lot of money for 3 days, especially in California. It could be what, $300 a day? It's almost another $1,000. Don't do that to your clients. So be aware of your client's financial situation, but also be aware of how to be frugal, because it's not your money to waste, right? You got to be the best agent you can be for your clients. That's why we're called fiduciaries. So a little bit more, because I wanted to get done with page 195. So tomorrow we can start at 196. Anyway, it says, in closing statements, the buyer and the seller's totals are usually different. However, each closing statement must balance within itself. In the buyer's closing statement, the purchase price is the debit. You need to know that if you haven't taken your California state exam yet. Prorations. Property taxes, interest, fire insurance, and rents are prorated. Title insurance premiums would not be prorated in escrow. Proration is the process of proportionately, that's a good word to learn, proportionately, dividing expenses or income to the precise date that the escrow closes and or date previously agreed on. So what they're saying is this: if the seller already paid for stuff, they're going to get a credit on it, okay? So it enables the buyer and the seller to pay or receive their proportionate share of expenses and income. And then I highlighted items that are commonly prorated are property taxes, fire insurance, interest, and rents. Proration of prepaid taxes is a credit to your seller. So remember, proration to the seller, and remember the debt for the buyer is the purchase price. And that's all we're going to do for tonight. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow night. So I'm trying to think what tomorrow night is. So we're here in Sacramento. Again, realtors come to Sacramento every single at the end of April, sometimes in the beginning of May. But we're here to talk to our legislators and help not fight for homeowners. We don't want to say fight. We want to say negotiate and work with our legislators to make sure that they do what's right for homeowners and properties owners. So if you have any questions or any comments, or you want to come down here, if you're already a realtor and you want to come down here, I don't know if you can still register, but what's it hurt to come down here to the convention center on the second level and see where it says registration? Because if you're a CAR member, which you are if you're a realtor and you're a member of your local association, you can come down to the meetings. Tomorrow morning is risk management. OMG. So if you're watching this and we've already played it already, it won't be tomorrow morning, obviously, but it is May 29th, May 30th in the morning at 8 a.m. in the Convention Center Hall is risk management. Risk management is insane because what happens is people get up and talk about what realtors in their area are doing and what we should do about it. So have an amazing rest of your evening. I know it's late already, but if you have any questions, feel free to comment. I'm here for you when it comes to real estate. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks for watching.